Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the final podcast episode of 2025. This is the final thing that I will be doing for the Underwater Fly Zone in the year of 2025. Gosh, this was the year that would never end, honestly. And honestly, I wish it wouldn't end because this was the best year of my life, truly. I mean, 2024 was great. I got married in 2024. So maybe this is tied for the best year of my life, but 2025, man, what a year. I'm excited for today's episode because today what I want to do is just kind of pick my head up. I've had my head down grinding for this whole year. I feel like this whole entire year my head's been down. We would do something great and it's automatically on to the next thing, just doing my best to grow this message, spread this message, grow this brand, make a difference. Like, truly, guys, I just feel like I have been nonstop this year, and I'm grateful for that. That is not me complaining. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that God's blessed us with. I've just been doing my best to really take advantage and take in every opportunity we've been given, whether it's just a simple pop-up event or whether it's a speaking engagement, podcast episode, whatever it is with the Underwater Fly Zone. God's given us so many opportunities this year, and for me, being the owner, the operator of all of this, I just feel like my head has been down all year, just grinding on to the next. And today, in this episode, I want to take some time to pick my head up and kind of look around and reflect on the year that was 2025. And that's how I want to start this episode, with just some time to reflect on the year. I then want to get into a portion where I'm going to call it the top threes portion. We're going to have different top threes, top three of this, top three of that in the year of 2025. So stick around for that. And then at the end of this episode, I'm putting my head back down and we're going to talk about all that is to come in 2026. January is already packed full. February is getting there as well. We're even booking out to March for events, speaking engagements, pop-ups, all of that. And I just want to kind of end the episode off today with looking ahead. But to start off, I want to look back on this year. I want to take some time to pick my head up and kind of reflect on this year. And to start this off, I want to go month by month. And we got to start it off with the event that we talked about in the last episode we just posted. I don't know if you guys had the chance yet to watch the episode we posted yesterday with my guy, Chris Madden. He is the operator of Lee Summit Cares, one of the nonprofits that we work with. It is probably the nonprofit we've worked with the most, especially in 2025. Chris Madden is the operator of Lee Summit Cares. And man, that was a great podcast. And if you watched that podcast, we talked about the mayor's character breakfast that is coming up, but we were also talking about the one that happened last year, the one that started off 2025. That was the first thing that happened for the Underwater Fly Zone in the year of 2025. And we were awarded this trophy right here. And I'm so grateful for this memory. It was such a great way to start off the year of 2025. We were given the Honesty Award. This is actually given for the year of 2024, which is crazy that we were awarded this based on what we had done before this year. Like, that is the craziest part to me, because I feel like this year we've gone above and beyond anything we did in the years past. But this was an award given to us at the start of this year for all of the work we did in 2024, which really blows my mind. And I'm truly grateful for this recognition, this award. And this award is the Honesty Award, which is also something I really pride myself on. If you guys know me, if we've ever had an issue with shipping on the website, or if we ever had an issue with anything, I'm always open, upfront, honest. If I make a mistake with shipping, I put the wrong shirt in a package just because I'm moving too fast or something, I always try to be upfront, always. I don't even try to be upfront and honest. I just am, I don't try to be. That's just what I do. I'm naturally, I don't have anything to hide at all. And I really, really am just honored to be recognized for honesty. And my favorite part about this award is that, yes, my name, Foster Huggins, is on the award, but my favorite part is that it says at the top, I don't know if you could see it, but it says Underwater Fly Zone Podcast. Above my name, above anything on this award, the top thing it says is the Underwater Fly Zone Podcast, because this award is not possible without this community we have, and without you guys watching, and without everyone that supports us. All of this is nothing without y'all. All of this is nothing without we coming together and making this happen. So my favorite part about this award truly is the fact that it says Underwater Fly Zone Podcast at the top of it, because this award is not for me. This is for us. This is a collective effort. This is a collective community that we have here. And like I said, if it wasn't for y'all, this is not possible. So I hope that you find some pride in this. I don't know if pride's the right word, but some honor. I hope you feel honored as well, because this is not just my trophy. This is our trophy. It says our name, our brand's name at the top. And it's amazing to be recognized, because sometimes you could go through life working so hard and feel like no one is watching, but it's nice to know that, hey, someone was watching. The mayor of Lee Summit is the one that handed me this. The literal mayor of Lee Summit. It's the last I never would have expected this to happen in my life, to be awarded by the mayor of Lee Summit, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Lee Summit, Missouri. I've always lived in Lee Summit. I went to Ray Peck High School, Raymore Peculiar High School, but I grew up in Lee Summit. So to have the mayor recognize me in the city I grew up in, man, I'm grateful. So what a great way to start the year. I wanted to spend some time talking about this, getting this award, and how grateful I am for this award. And honestly, the whole experience this day was crazy. I'll break it down real quick, and then we'll get into the next thing. I don't want to spend too much time on any one thing, because there's so much that happened this year, but I do want to say, I remember waking up that day, didn't really know what to expect. We went to the breakfast, me and my wife, Macy, and to experience that day alongside my wife, just me and my wife walked in there, and we walked in and got seated at a table with some older gentlemen that were very successful. We were seated at this table with some older men that were so successful, and then it's just me and Macy sitting there, and we almost felt out of place, but they were such cool guys, and they poured into us. They gave us so much wisdom that honestly I took forward throughout the whole year. And to get on stage with the mayor recognized and to do all of that alongside my wife truly was a great way, the best way to start 2025. Shout out to Reese Bradford for nominating me for the award. I met her before, but she came up to me after the award ceremony and said, hey, I was the one that nominated you. And I was like, no way, that's crazy. So shout out to Reese Bradford. I've also been told that there were multiple other people that nominated me as well. So for anybody that nominated me for that award and nominated the Underwater FlyZone movement for that award, thank you guys. Truly, thank you. I love y'all, for real. I love this community we have, and I'm so glad we got recognized, man. And that was a great way to start the year. Great way to start the year. That was the first thing that happened this year. If you go back to our Instagram, that is our first post of 2025. Is the post from that morning. So great way to start the year. I was blessed with the opportunity to speak for Herbalife in January as well, which that event ended up really paying out dividends, as far as opportunity goes. Because I spoke at Herbalife, that's the reason we are able to do all these pop-ups at these nutrition shops, because a lot of these nutrition shops found out about us that day where I got to speak at their event, and I got to set up our merch. That was when we had our camo tees. We brought 100 camo tees to this event and left with 0. So shout out to Herbalife. Thank you to Morgan Bears. Her last name's not Bears anymore. Oops. Whatever your last name is now. You and your husband, Nick, man, Perry, Morgan Perry and Nick Perry. Shout out to you guys. We're actually doing an event with them coming up. We'll leave that till later on, but shout out to Morgan Perry, Nick Perry for having me out there, giving me that opportunity. I'm truly grateful to be able to have been able to make an impact in the Herbalife community. And thank you to everybody that we met. I won't get into every nutrition shop pop-up that we did this year, but all the nutrition shops that brought us out and allowed us to spread our message through selling our merch this year. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Belton Nutrition, Harrisonville Nutrition, Diamond Nutrition, Royal Nutrition. Man, I think I'm forgetting one. If I'm forgetting one, I'm sorry. But thank you guys. Truly, truly grateful. Truly grateful for you guys giving us those opportunities to truly make a difference and truly spread our word and grow this community. Thank you guys. So January was great. Those were the two big things from January. February, we had our merch drop. We dropped these hoodies right here. I'm glad I had one so close to me. We dropped these hoodies. This is my favorite colorway, the pink and teal. I don't know if it's still my favorite colorway, but at the time we dropped these, I was just in love with these pink and teal hoodies. A lot of you guys want us to restock them, but like I always say, man, you better get it while you can, because when I say something's limited, I'm really not playing around. Those things are gone. They're not coming back. We will have a drop similar to those again this February, so be looking out. But that was a great merch drop, great time. In February, I got to go speak out at Mizzou for a fraternity. But other than that, February was slow. I'm not going to lie. February this year was slow. But March, we picked it up real good because the first day of March was our first ever Dallas, Texas event. It was our first trip to Dallas. That's where we got one of our 4, can you see it? Yeah, these are 4 vendor necklaces. I kept all of them with the Melting Pot Market out in Dallas, Texas. Shout out to Melting Pot. Man, Melting Pot has been a staple memory multiple times throughout this year. So shout out to Melting Pot, our first event out in Dallas. And it went so good that we ended up going back 2 weeks later, back to Dallas. 2 trips to Dallas in March. And that second trip, man, wow, what a day that was out at the AT&T Discovery District. That was the best pop-up. That was the best single-day pop-up ever in the history of the Underwater Fly Zone out in Dallas, Texas. And I just want to give all the glory to God for that because, man, how grateful I am and how grateful all of us at the Underwater Fly Zone are to be able to actually go to another city 8 hours away from where we're located and have a record day. I mean, it's one thing to go to a different city and have a solid day and have a good trip, but to go to Dallas and have a record-setting day is just unexplainable. So shout out to Melting Pot, all you guys out at Melting Pot. I hope you're watching this. If you're not, I know you guys are busy, but if you are watching this, thank you so much truly for the amount of effort, the amount of work, the promotion, the vibe at the event. Everything you guys do at your events is truly unreal. I have not seen that level of commitment and attention to detail at any other event. So I just want to give a shout out to all my homies out in Dallas with the Melting Pot Market. And we'll talk more about Dallas as this podcast goes on. But March was great. It was marked by Dallas, Texas, truly. March was when we got introduced to Dallas, Texas. April was marked by Maryville, Missouri. Maryville, Missouri is where this whole podcast started. We got to do a pop-up out there in April. But a big thing we got to do in April as well, man. Shout out to my college, Northwest Missouri State. They brought me out, made one of my dreams come true. When I graduated college, I had a couple dreams. We'll talk about those throughout this podcast as well. But one of my biggest dreams, honestly, my top dream was to one day be able to come back to my school, Northwest Missouri State, and speak to the students. And my dream came true in April. And what's crazy is that it came true on April 24th. If you know my story, my best friend passed away back when I was sophomore in high school. It was 2017. He passed away, and I found out that he passed away on April 24th, 2017. 8 years later, on April 24th, 2025, I was able to accomplish one of my biggest goals that I had leaving college. I was able to speak to over 2,000 students at my old college, Northwest Missouri State. I got to share my message. We got to put out a ton of merch, and we just had such a fulfilling, impactful experience that night. Truly, that was a night where I really do believe that lives were changed. And I actually know for a fact that lives were changed because since that night, I've had so many of you guys that were there come to pop-ups and tell me, man, that night you came to Northwest, that night changed my life. And again, all glory to God for that. I'm truly just so grateful for that opportunity and so grateful that I was able to, spread that message and give that message and actually make an impact. And I'm telling you guys, I'm no savior. I'm really not that special. It's truly all God. So all the glory to God for that night and all the accomplishments and blessings that we were able to experience in 2025. But that one specifically, April 24th, 2025 was such a surreal night, to be honest. It was a surreal night. And also, I just want to give a little message about the whole experience I had there. It's just crazy that 8 years, the 8-year anniversary of the, let me speak fluently because I might make an Instagram reel out of this. Oh man, it's just crazy that the 8-year anniversary of the worst day of my life, I will now remember that day as honestly one of the best days of my life. Aside from the day I got married, the day I got engaged, hopefully the day in a couple months when I have a kid, you know what I'm saying? That day, April 24th, 2025, 8 years after the worst day of my life, that was April 24th, 2017, Oh my gosh, I can't talk. April 24th, 2025 will go down as one of the best days of my entire life. And that just goes to show, guys, if you feel like you're in a rough spot right now, if you feel like you are having the worst day of your life or the worst season of your life right now, please stick around for the rebuild. Stick around. Don't give up. Keep pushing, because I promise you there is light at the end of the tunnel. You might not see it right now, but if you just keep focusing on taking one step forward every single day, you are going to see that light at the end of the tunnel, man. And I'm just blessed that I didn't give in to the temporary thoughts that I was having back in 2017, because to be honest with you guys, after my friend passed away, I was having some of my own suicidal thoughts. Like, just being real with you guys, I was having some thoughts where I was just thinking, man, I don't want to be alive. I'd wake up and not want to have woken up. I just was in a horrible position in my life mentally, and I just knew that as long as I don't give up, I will see the light at the end of that tunnel. And those thoughts and feelings I was having, those thoughts and feelings were temporary. And I'm so glad I didn't make a permanent decision to temporary problems. And that's what suicide is at the end of the day. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Those problems, those feelings and thoughts I was having, they were temporary. And I'm so glad that I didn't give up, because I was able to see the light at the end of that tunnel. And I've been seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for quite some time now, but wow, April 24th, 2025, a dream come true for me. I'll never forget the night that I was able to accomplish a dream of mine and spread that message at the school that I care so much about, the Northwest Missouri State University Bearcats, baby. So April, what a month. May was amazing as well. There's just some things that happen in May that are just staples of a year. Okay, so every May we have our Painted Posy pop-up in Raymore, Missouri. Shout out to Painted Posy, Shelly Harmon, and shout out to Raymore for showing love. May is kind of Raymore's month, and it's going to stay that way this year. May is the month for Raymore. I told you guys I grew up in Lee Summit, but I went to Ray Peck High School. The Ray stands for Raymore, so we get a ton of love from Raymore. I'm probably going to end up living in Raymore one of these days, so shout out to Raymore for showing up at the Painted Posy pop-up. We had a Culver's night in Raymore in the month of May, and we even had a Ray Peck event in Raymore. I guess technically it was in Peculiar, but it was just a little pop-up, but the month of May was all for Raymore, and I just want to give some love and a shout out to Raymore, Missouri for showing us so much love this year. Raymore is actually our second biggest city that supports us, right behind Lee Summit. So, and Lee Summit's just a bigger city. So, shout out to Raymore. Shout out to Maryville. Maryville's number 3. And I talked about Mizzou a little bit earlier, but Columbia, Missouri is number 4. So those are our 4 top cities. Let me get a quick drink before I get into June, because things really start to ramp up from June on. Let me get a drink real quick. Sorry to all of our audio listeners. My water bottle is so loud. That was probably disgusting, but sorry about that. Anyways, guys, June. There's a staple that always happens in June. It's the best 3-day span of the year for honestly, for myself on a personal level and on an Underwater FlyZone level. Downtown Days in downtown Lee Summit. It's a 3-day event, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, and this year we dropped our black and white camo shirts. At that event, we had the pink, the orange, the green, the blue, the white, the black, all different options, and you guys absolutely showed out and went absolutely insane. Downtown Days has to be up in the top 3 memories from this year. So, and it's truly all thanks to you guys. It was a big risk. I over-ordered. We actually still have some. If you look behind me, we still have some of the black and white camo tees from that event. I actually over-ordered for that event, which I'm grateful I did, because we were able to provide what you guys wanted throughout almost the whole weekend. Unless you wanted a smaller medium, by the end of the weekend they were gone. Everything we got left is XL. So anyways, you guys showed out that weekend, so I truly can't thank you guys enough. Without you guys, I mean, like I said, I over-ordered. I full sent the house for that weekend, and if y'all didn't come through, that might have been the last weekend we had of the year. We might have been just selling the same stuff over and over all year long, because, you know, it was a huge risk I took, and you guys allowed it to pay off. So I just want to thank you guys so much for showing up and showing out that weekend in Downtown Days. And we followed up Downtown Days the next weekend. We had our first ever SwapCon event. We did 2 SwapCons this year. That was our first one. And then we also did a Smithville event in the same day. So 2 events in one day. It was June 14th. I got all this memorized, guys. June 14th, SwapCon and Smithville in the same day. both events, I won't lie, they were kind of, let's just be honest here, they're kind of mid. I'm not going to lie. They were kind of mid, but at the same time, as mid as they may have been, we were able to meet so many new people, and the blessings that have came from those quote-unquote mid events have paid off throughout the whole year, because we met some amazing people at those events. Shout out to all the people that we met at those events. You know who you are. And man, so even at the end of the day, a mid event is still worth your time, because you don't know who you impacted. You don't know what conversation you had that they really need to, you might have said something they really need to hear. Maybe, maybe they really just needed to see our brand and be introduced to our brand. So that's why I bring that weekend up, because although the events I think we actually lost money on a couple of the events because of the vendor fees, but that's not what this is about. That's truly never been what this is about. What this is about is making an impact. So I bring that June 14th day up because what we were able to do there was really make a difference. I'll never forget that day going back and forth between Smithville and downtown Kansas City. It was crazy, and I'm hoping to run it back in 2026. But anyways, June was truly a great month. We celebrated our fourth birthday, the Underwater FlyZone's fourth birthday, on June 21st. The podcast, the Underwater FlyZone, started June 21st, 2021. So this year marked 4 years of the Underwater FlyZone. And then we went on to July. I actually kind of took the month off. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I work a full-time job alongside of doing all of this. So after everything that had been going on, I was like, I really need to dedicate some time just to fully focus on my job. So July was really that. I was just focusing on roofing. I do roofing as my full-time job, but July, I took some time to kind of slow things down. I had been doing so much. I was like, let's slow it down and let's really lock in, dial in for the month of July on my full-time job. Although we did end off the month with our first ever Iowa pop-up. We were in Des Moines, Iowa, downtown Des Moines. Met some great people that day, and we had a great event, to be honest. It was an amazing event in Des Moines, Iowa. So shout out to everybody in Des Moines, Iowa. We did that event on July 26th, right at the end of the month. So shout out to everybody we met at Des Moines. That was a great event in July as well. So then we got August, speaking engagements start popping back up. We were able to speak at some colleges, some high schools, and a big one, we got to go back to Des Moines, Iowa. This is my highlight of August. We got to go back to Des Moines, Iowa, and we were able to speak. I was able to speak at Turner Construction. I got their hat up there somewhere. Turner Construction, I got to share the message with a construction company, which is actually a goal I don't talk much about, but I really would love to bring this message that we have here to construction companies, because suicide, unfortunately, is a leading cause of death in the construction industry. So like a little side quest mission I have for the Underwater FlyZone is to get more involved with construction companies. And that was the first one we ever got to be involved with. We got some more coming up in 2026 we'll get to be involved with as well. So I'm really excited for that. And the cool thing is that it was in Des Moines, Iowa, which is where my cousins live. So I got to spend some time with my cousins. Shout out to Drew, Reed, Ty, Mark, Megan, my aunt and uncle. They let me stay there for the 3 or 4 days I was up there. And also shout out to Lauren. And Lauren, shout out to all your homies you brought that day as well. Caden, shout out to you as well, bro, up in Des Moines, Iowa. We met them at the July Des Moines pop-up. And then when I was up there in Des Moines for the speaking engagements, one of the nights I hit up Lauren and I was like, hey, I'm in town. Do you want to do a photo shoot for our new merch drop we have coming up? Because she had reached out to me after the July event and was like, hey, if you ever need a model, let me know. Well, I remembered she said that, so I took her up on it. And we had, honestly, one of the best photo shoots we've had all year long for the clothing brand during the week when I was up there for a speaking engagement. So truly, it was a business trip, and it was like the most fun, fulfilling business trip ever. Shout out to you, Lauren, for that photo shoot, and shout out to Turner Construction. One thing about August I forgot to mention was on August 9th, we went back to Dallas, Texas for the third time, and we did 2 events in one day. And honestly, the reason we did 2 events in one day in Dallas is just because I feel like us as humans, we have this range of capabilities, right? And every time you test your limits, you expand that range, right? You expand the range of what you're capable of. And I felt like, I was like, if we could go to Dallas, a city 8 hours from here, and do 2 events in one day in Dallas, our range of capabilities is going to expand so much. And my thought was also, if we could go do that, then our 1 5-hour event in Raymore on a Saturday is going to feel like cakewalk because of what we've done in the past. Does that make sense? So I just want to, in some way, apologize to the team because we were under some stress that day. I view stress as a positive because you're expanding that range of capabilities, but I know that not everyone's up for that, and I don't know if my guys truly had a good time that weekend. I know me and Macy had a I don't want to lie to you guys. It was not the best weekend. It was a SwapCon event once again, and once again it was a slower event. I won the Honesty Award, guys. I can't tell a lie. It was a slow event, and a lot of other vendors did good, but us personally, we just kind of sat there like I don't even know who we reached that day, but it wasn't. Again, it's not about the numbers financially. It's not about how many shirts did you sell. It's about the conversations. And there's one conversation that I remember having with a guy that did not even buy merch. He didn't buy any merch, but we talked to him, and he actually like broke down and was like, I remember talking to him and like he was crying, honestly, and just telling me his story. I don't even remember his name, but I'd like to believe that conversation meant something to him because it means something to me, man. I remember what he said. I don't want to share his business, but basically he was like a veteran, and he was just telling me some veteran stories, and I gave him some stickers. He didn't buy anything, but that's the thing. These pop-ups are not just about selling all that stuff. It's also about the conversations you have, the impact you can make. That's like the main mission. That's why we do this. And I'll never forget that conversation I had with that guy. Even though he didn't buy any merch, he genuinely was just a guy that we had a great talk, and he made the event worth it. He honestly made the event worth it. And we left SwapCon and went to the Melting Pot Market, our 3rd Melting Pot Market of the year. And the Melting Pot Market low-key saved the trip from a financial standpoint. We were about to lose like a lot of money, like a ton of money. But Melting Pot came through. So shout out to all my homies in Dallas that pulled up and bought some merch and made it a great experience for us. And shout out to the team. Shout out to the team for being willing to expand our range of capabilities because it was a lot of stress. It was not easy. I think people see our Instagram post and just think like all these pop-ups are just us having a great time and everyone's, happy and excited. That's not the reality at all. It's hard work. It was 110 degrees during the setup for the second market. And I was at SwapCon, so Carson and Jack, shout out to you guys. They're the ones that set the whole market up. It's like 115 degrees, and they're carrying 80-pound boxes of merch, setting up, dealing with check-in, dealing with all the stuff that I would normally deal with, but they were having to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And that was not easy. So shout out to you guys, man. I can't thank you guys enough for all the hard work. I'll shout them more out in a little bit. But yeah, August was great. Had the 2 events in one day in Dallas, and we had Turner Construction. And we had a lot in between there. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but we got to get to September and I got to get another drink because September is Suicide Awareness Month. And man, we had a great slate of opportunities in September. So let me take a drink real quick. Sorry to all the audio listeners. This is going to be weird again, but give me 1 second here. Let's actually see. There, I turned the mic down for you. All right, your boy's back. I'm back, and I'm ready to talk about September, man. I was able to speak for Drury University down in Springfield, Westminster out in Fulton, Missouri. Got to go to those 2 colleges. Got to go to Missouri State University in their basketball arena. Honestly, it was way overblown. There was only like 50 to 60 people there. Maybe more than that. There might have been like 100 people there, but it looked like there was not a lot of people there because we're in the whole big basketball arena. They put our logo up on the Jumbotron. It was honestly one of the coolest experiences. And when I look back at 2025, that Missouri State event is one of my top memories of this year. So shout out to everybody we met down at Missouri State, the SAC program, the Student Athletic Advisory Committee program. I think I said that right, but shout out to you guys, man. We met some great people, some people we still keep in contact with to this day, and you guys showed us so much love, and I really hope that we were able to make a difference for you guys that day. Same with Fulton, Missouri, with Westminster, same with Drury, and same with everybody that I spoke to this year. I hope that you genuinely took something away from what we talked about, and man, I'll never forget that night. I know that for a fact. That Missouri State event was amazing, and it jump-started what was to come the next week, because the next week I was booked for my first ever speaking tour. I went on tour, guys, all around Northwest Missouri. All around to every high school in Northwest Missouri, I got to speak for every single high school student in Northwest Missouri, besides a couple high schools that it didn't work out. But just shout out to the St. Francis Foundation for reaching out to me and allowing me to put my message out there to these kids and share my message with these kids. And honestly, the St. Francis Foundation set the whole thing up. They made it real easy for me to just come out, speak, do my thing, and make a difference. And it was a 3-day tour for 17 school districts. I think it was 17. It might end up being like 14, but it was supposed to be 17. But anyways, man, it was incredible. It was incredible. I got to speak in Ravenwood for Northeast Nottoway, and multiple other school districts were there as well. Got to speak at Stanberry. I'll never forget the Stanberry one. Shout out to all my Stanberry supporters, man. You guys have been showing some real love. Got to speak at North Andrew with a bunch of other school districts there. Got to speak at West Nottoway High School. So I told you guys earlier, when I graduated college, there was some certain goals I had, and there were 3 main goals I had when I graduated college. The first was to speak at Northwest Missouri State. That was accomplished in 2025. The second was to speak at West Nottoway High School. This is a tiny little high school, but it's where I student taught at, and I truly love the people up there. I am so grateful for my student teaching experience and all the relationships that I built when I student taught up there. So it was on my goal list to speak there one day, and that was also accomplished in 2025. And I'm so grateful that I was able to do that. And I just want to say to all my people out in Burlington Junction, I love you guys. Truly, truly love you guys, man. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to share that message with y'all while you were still in school. I thought it was going to be when I was 30, 35, 40 years old when I'd be blessed with the opportunity to come back. But the fact I was able to come back while the kids I taught were still in school, bro, amazing opportunity, and I'm so grateful. And that was probably my favorite event of the tour. But the next day we got to speak at Maryville High School. Maryville is the town that this brand was founded in. Maryville is the town that Northwest Missouri State University is in, and that was also on my checklist of goals, places to speak at when I graduated college. So there was 4 main locations. 3 of them were checked off by September of 2025. And the Maryville High School event, I will say to this day, that was the best speaking engagement, the most impactful experience as of right now, as of December 31st, 2025. That is the one event that I truly put at the top of my list for the best one ever. So shout out to Maryville. Shout out to everyone up in Northwest Missouri that was able to hear me speak. Thank you guys if you still connect with us. I hope you do, but I don't know. You never really know. That's the one thing about speaking. You go to a school, you do your thing, and then you leave, and you just hope that you made an impact, right? So I really hope that I was able to do that for you guys. And I'm just so grateful for that opportunity. And September ended off with Oktoberfest. We re-released our Refuse to Be Enemies shirts, and you guys sold us out of them in 2 days. It's a 2-day event. At the end of the 2 days, every single Refuse to Be Enemies shirt was gone. Besides, I think there were 2 left that I sold on the story the next week. So just thank you guys. Once again, Lee Summit showing out for us. Thank you guys for Oktoberfest and all the love you showed us at Oktoberfest. I'm truly so grateful for your guys' support, man. So that was a great month. September was, just to tell you guys, there's 2 months in my life that stick out as the best months of my life. September 2025 and June 2024. Because in June 2024, I got married. It was my honeymoon. It was downtown days. It was a great month. June 2024 and September 2025 are both at the top of my list for best months of my life. And I'm just so grateful for all the memories. And one last thing, I kind of feel like I breezed over the tour. There was a morning where it was the first day of the tour. I wake up and I had about 30 minutes before I had to leave. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I get terrified and nervous, and I don't speak because I enjoy speaking. I don't speak because I like to do it. I'll be honest with you guys, it terrifies me. I can't eat during the day when I speak. Like, my stomach is I feel like nerves in my stomach. Like it's honestly unhealthy for me to speak, if I'm being honest, because I just get so nervous, and it's just not, it's not what Instagram makes it look like. It's me being full of anxiety leading up to the event, if I'm being honest. And it was about 30 minutes to go before I had to leave for the event, and I was like, I'm just going to watch some videos. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I brought my Bible with me, so I read my Bible instead. I opened up to a random page. I don't even remember what I read, but I just remember when I read it, feeling an overwhelming sense of peace, feeling calm and feeling ready to go. And I remember feeling like, man, I need to do this more often. I need to put the phone down and pick the Bible up, because the Bible gave me the peace and the fuel I needed to actually go out and actually make a difference that day. And I think that if I would have made the decision to scroll instead of read the word before I went out and spoke at these schools, I think that I genuinely would not have had as impactful of an experience. So if you want to ask for like a New Year's resolution, that's what it is for me. I'm trying to put my phone down and pick the Bible up. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you guys can join me in that. You know what I'm saying? So that was just one thing I just wanted to share about the tour. And the other thing about the tour is I went up there all alone to Maryville, all by myself, but I did get to stay with my brother Carson. And I felt like, Carson, I don't know if you're watching this, but I felt like that week for us was kind of cool, just to kind of like, I don't know, I was on tour. It kind of felt cool, you know what I'm saying? We got to really bond that week, and I got to take some people out to lunch. Some of our supporters up in Maryville, I got to take them out to lunch. I got to bond with my boy Trent. Trent came out and was my camera guy, so shout out to Trent, man. Thank you for all the great work you did with your camera work. Honestly, he killed it that week and made sure the content was on point. So shout out to Trent. And I don't know, that was just a week I'll never forget. So yeah, man, and one more thing I want to say about speaking. So all 17 of those school districts I spoke at were public schools, and in a public school, you can't go in there and talk about Jesus. You can't talk about Christ. You can't talk about any religious stuff at all. You can't talk about political opinions, which I don't even really do that anyways. But I do talk about God quite often. And so I just wanted to let anybody know, if there is a school watching or a superintendent watching, I went to college at Northwest Missouri State to become a public school teacher. I taught public school for a year. You know, when I say I read the Bible before I went and spoke at these schools, I'm not going to these schools and preaching the word. That's not what we're doing. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about strategies on how to cope and how to handle your mental health in a positive way. And it's just, I know what I'm doing, y'all. I'm a professional. I feel like I just have to say that, just because I know there's a lot of people that watch our podcast now that it's not like it used to be. It's not my mom, dad, and Anna. Shout out to Anna. It's not like that anymore. I think there's a lot of people watching these days. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows, I understand what I can and can't say in a public school. I'm not doing anything that's against the law or anything. I understand what's going on, and I see where it's coming from, so I just want to put that out there. And yeah, but I will say I'm reading the Bible before I go talk. I'm making sure I'm praying before I go talk. I'm asking God to speak through me. Although I might not be saying Bible verses, I'm asking God to speak through me and be able to minister to these kids and uplift these kids and make sure these kids hear what they need to hear. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say what these kids need to hear. I'm trying to really make a difference. So I just want to put that out there. But just if there's any public school principal or superintendent watching this that wants to book me, I know what I can and can't say. So I just wanted to make that clear. But yeah, so October comes around, and man, October was incredible. There was a lot that happened in October. We got to go back to Avila. I forgot to mention Avila in August. We went out to Avila in August, and we went out to Mizzou in August. Shout out to Mizzou. But the Avila event in August was insane. I was there for 2 hours, and we moved like over 100 shirts. So shout out to Avila. I didn't know we had love like that at Avila. I signed up for the event because one of my homies was putting it on, and he was like, hey, do you want to come? It's only 2 hours. It's free. I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? I want to support my guy, be a vendor for him. I posted a flyer for the event. I did not expect the love that we got that day. And then we had another Avila event in October, and the same thing happened. Tons of love. So I just want to give a big shout out to Avila. Thank you, Avila University, for the love you guys have shown us in 2025. We got some big stuff coming in 2026 at Avila specifically. So, sorry. Be looking out for that, man. Avila, we coming, baby. And I really appreciate you guys. There was something that happened in October that I'll never forget. It was the third. What? Gosh, we're 40 minutes into this, guys. I'm sorry. It was the third thing. No, the fourth. Okay, so sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. When I graduated college, there was 4 main goals I had. Northwest Missouri State, I wanted to speak there. West Nottoway, Burlington Junction, I wanted to speak there. Maryville High School, I wanted to speak there. 3 of the 4 goals I set out to achieve had already been achieved. And then in October, the 4th goal was achieved. I was blessed with the opportunity to speak at Ray-Pec High School, my old high school, where I went to high school. Not only did I get to speak there, I got to host the whole Ray-Pec You Matter night. It's a tradition that they started ever since my friend and another friend guy that went to school passed away to suicide back in 2017, 2018. They started Ray-Pec You Matter night, and they asked me to host the whole thing. The 4th dream I had been accomplished. The 4th goal had been accomplished. I have so much more to say about that, but the night at Ray-Pec High School, I put so much work into that night, and the turnout was less than I expected, but the turn up was way better than I expected. Does that make sense? The turnout to the event, there might have been less people, but the people that were there turned up. You know what I'm saying? We had a great time. And I basically did what I normally do. I did my 30-minute talk, 30-minute yard sign activity, but we had another hour blocked off for elementary PE games. I wanted them to tap in with their younger selves and kind of reconnect with their younger selves. I felt like for me, when I went through my healing journey, that was a huge step in it. So we did elementary PE games so everyone there could reconnect with them younger selves. And dude, it turned out way better than I thought. I thought the high school kids, I thought they were going to think it was lame, it was weird, it was dumb. No, they bought in. We had a great time. And my 4th dream came true that night. And man, I just hope that everybody watching can sit here on the last day, December 31st of a year, at some point in their lives, and be able to reflect back and be able to say, man, all of the things I set out to accomplish were accomplished. Like I could sit here and say that today, that every single dream I had leaving college was accomplished in the year of 2025. Every single speaking dream, every single professional dream was accomplished this year. And like I've said a couple times already, it's all glory to God. I am not good enough or cool enough or anything enough to be able to do this on my own. It's all glory to God. But I'll say this to everybody watching. God can't bless you if you don't first take the step, take the action to create the thing that he's wanting to bless. It's crazy that I was holding myself back, not starting speaking sooner, because I maybe could have accomplished these goals even sooner than 2025, but I let fear hold me back at times. I don't know. I just kind of had some things with myself where I didn't know if I was worthy. I had some like imposter syndrome. I'm like, am I really worthy to speak to these kids? Can I really make a difference? And this year, I just realized, yes, I can make a difference. And I realized that God can't bless something that I don't take the action to start on, So I really have been trying to take steps and take actions and drive down to Missouri State to talk to a sorority and on my own time, going out there for free just to spread this message and, sacrifice nights of my life, days of my life, going out to these places, getting extremely uncomfortable, extremely filled with anxiety to go out there just to share this message, because I knew that if I just keep doing this, one day these dreams and these goals will be accomplished, and they all were accomplished this year. So I just hope that one day maybe that day is today for you as well. Maybe you were able to accomplish all your goals this year. And if you were, you know what I'm saying is true, that the only way you'll be able to sit at the end of the year and say that you accomplished all your goals is if you start today. Start creating today. Start taking steps forward today, because God wants to bless you guys. Like if you have that calling and you have that intense conviction to start something, or you feel like you have a bigger purpose to do something with your life, God is likely the reason that you feel that way. He wants you to take action. He wants you to take that step, but we can oftentimes be held back by fear or complacency or distraction. We can be distracted by different things and procrastinate starting. But guys, God can't bless you until you start. You know what I'm saying? God might be sitting there just like, please start. I have so many blessings for you. I just need you to take the step and start. So maybe somebody watching in 2026, maybe that's what you needed to hear for 2026. What can you start this year? And God, maybe you could open the door for God to be like, yes, I could finally bless you to your fullest capability. Does that make sense? I just learned that this year, man, and I'm just so grateful that all these goals were accomplished this year. And I just hope that everybody watching can feel the way I feel at the end of this year. I feel truly fulfilled at the end of this year from a standpoint of professionalism. I don't even know what to say, man. I'm just grateful. And Ray Peck, that completed my 4th big goal, and now it's time to set bigger goals. I want to speak to bigger stages, to bigger crowds, to more people, more communities. And man, we'll talk more about that later, but October, I was able to speak at Ray Peck, and that was huge for me. And then November, what happened in November, man? I'm drawing a blank for November. It was a crazy year. Let me look at Instagram real quick, and I'll also hurry this up because I'm just going kind of long. I was not expecting to talk about or reminisce for so long, but I guess a lot happened this year, right? Well, heck, November appears to have been pretty slow. But I know it wasn't. So in November, I know we did a couple speaking engagements. We got to go speak to a couple of fraternities and sororities at the University of Missouri. Shout out to all the fraternities and sororities at the University of Missouri that brought us out this year. I think it was over 10 fraternities and sororities out at the University of Missouri brought us out in 2025 to speak, to put out our merch, to make a positive difference in your guys' organizations. And I'm hoping we can continue that in 2026. I just want to say, Missouri's not the only school that I'll go to. I'll go really anywhere. So if you guys want to bring me out, fosterhuggins.com, search it. fosterhuggins.com pops up the flyer or the application to fill out an application, and let's make this happen, guys. We can totally do it. I want to continue to spread this message in the fraternity and sorority community. So hit me up, reach out. I'd love to get out there. Missouri State, I went out to Missouri State in November as well. Missouri State and the University of Missouri have been showing me a ton of love the past couple of years, and I hope to continue that in 2026 and hopefully expand that. Maybe we could get out to Kansas State, University of Kansas, Arkansas, hit me up, bro. Arkansas, Iowa State, University of Nebraska. Reach out to me, guys. I don't do a ton of outreach on my own just because these schools are flooded. Their inboxes are flooded with speakers wanting to come out and people wanting to come do their programs and stuff. I kind of let stuff come to me. I'm going to do better at outreach at some point, probably whenever I do this full time, if that day comes, when that day comes, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, guys, yeah, I want to continue that. And then December, we went back to Dallas for the final time this year, and then drove through the night. I slept for 1 hour because the next day we had our Ray Peck Christmas event, and that was a great weekend. We blessed over 50 kids with presents once again this year, and I'm so grateful for our community. We are a community that really puts our love to action. It's one thing to talk about spreading love, but it's another thing to actually do it for real by, acting on your words, not just talking about spreading love, but actually getting out in the community and making a real difference through our Christmas present project, which is only possible thanks to you guys. So I just want to shout out everybody for once again helping us bless the community. And man, it's truly only possible thanks to you guys. And I just love the Underwater FlyZone community. And we ended off the year with I thought the year was over, but we ended up doing one final event at Royal Nutrition on December 27th. My wife's cousin unfortunately passed away in a car accident, so I wasn't able to be there. But Jack and Carson, man, they held it down for me. And I just want to give another shout out to Jack Fields and Carson Huggins, my blood brother. Jack Fields, my other brother that we're not blood brothers, but he's my brother too, you know. So shout out to Carson Huggins, shout out to Jack Fields. Without you guys, this year would not have been as successful as it has been. So thank you guys truly for all your help at Downtown Days, Oktoberfest, Dallas, Texas, Royal Nutrition, and that one weekend whenever I just needed you guys to go work events for me. Carson did an event all by himself, and honestly, it's kind of in the hood of Kansas City, just to be honest. And then Jack Fields, he was in Raymore. They're working events for me while I'm out doing a photo shoot for our merch drop, our set merch drop. While I was doing the photo shoot, they were doing pop-ups for me because I overcommitted myself. But yeah, guys, I'm grateful for Carson. I'm grateful for Jack. I'm grateful for Caleb Lockard. Caleb Lockard, thank you, bro. You've been to a lot this year, and you've really grown a lot this year too. I'm really proud of you, bro, and I really appreciate all your help. Shout out to my guy Hudson, Huddy2K, cameraman. Shout out to Cam Lowe. Shout out to Macklin. Shout out to Landon Wickett with 1219 Effects. Thank you to all my camera crew for coming out and supporting this year and just doing it out the kindness of your heart. I did try to pay you guys when I could, but a lot of times you guys were doing it out the kindness of your heart. So thank you guys for that. And shout out to Caitlin McConville. She came out to a couple events and helped out. Shout out to Conlon Downey. Shout out my guy Brad Poles. I can't forget him for all the amazing videos he's made us this year. If any of my clothing brand homies are watching, hit up my guy Brad Poles for video work. He is him when it comes to video editing, even video shooting. He is that guy. So shout out Brad Poles, also known as Connor Olson. Thank you, bro, for all your amazing work you've done with me throughout all the years, but specifically this year with your video work while going through, all the things that have been coming up recently, man. I just can't thank you enough. Shout out to Brock Johnson. Brock, I don't know how involved you were this year, but I know you were there for a couple things. Shout out to Brock Johnson. Man, am I forgetting anybody? If I'm forgetting you, I'm sorry. Shout out to everybody that helped out at that Ray Peck event. We had a team of like 12 people. I think I'm forgetting somebody, but honestly, guys, I gotta move on. I gotta get into the next segment of this show. That was a long segment reflecting. Wow, it's crazy when you just put your head down and grind, and just keep going on to the next, to the next, to the next. It's crazy whenever you finally are able to look up and look around at all you've accomplished. Gosh, I'm just grateful. And I only scratched the surface of what we accomplished this year. So truly thank you to everybody that's been there for us this year, been supporting us this year. And let's get into the top threes. Top three section. The top three different things. I'm just going to kind of go off the top of the dome here. So top three of this, top three of that. The first top three I will bring up. And I want you guys to answer as well in the comments. What is your top three of Underwater FlyZone related things? Do that for me, all right? First question, top three merch drops of the year. Top three merch drops of the year. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What are your top three merch drops of the year? Drop it in the comments. But for me personally, at number 3, I got to go with the Lightning Tees. The Lightning Tees are so fire. I'm not going to lie. Like, they are so fire. I cut the sleeves off of mine. I love it, dude. Shout out to Street Warehouse for providing me with the opportunity to print these Lightning Tees. They actually gave me early access for these. So shout out Street Warehouse and shout out to everybody that supported us. The Lightning Tees, the only problem with them is they're way more expensive to make. So instead of our $40 price, they're $50. So some people, that's out of your price range. I understand that, and I'm sorry for selling stuff so expensive, but just trust when I say it ain't cheap to make. Let's just say that. So Lightning Tees got to be number 3 for me. Number 2, I'm going to go with the collector edition hoodie drop we just did. They were LA Apparel hoodies. It has been a dream of mine since I started this clothing brand to do LA Apparel hoodies. They are so expensive though. Like, they are crazy expensive. So I've never been able to do it until this year. We finally were able to do a LA Apparel hoodie drop. And once again, they were a little more expensive to sell as well because they were way more expensive to buy. So we sold them for $80. And you guys sold them completely out. They are all gone. There's not one left. So thank you guys for the love you showed us on the collector's edition hoodie drop. So for me, number 3 is the Lightning Tees. Number 2 is the collector edition hoodies. But number 1, I got to be honest, guys, and I don't know if you agree, but I'm wearing number 1 right now. It's the thermal drop. The thermals, for me, number 1 merch drop of the year. I think some of you might have slept on the thermals because, like, a lot of people know a thermal as, like underwear type stuff, like something you wear under clothes, like underwear type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't really look at a thermal and think style. And these we did have to sell for $55. But this is the best thing I think we've ever put out. And we're putting more out. So to everybody that did buy a thermal, you know how fire these are. To everybody that didn't buy a thermal, we got more coming at the start of next year. Just be waiting around for it. It's coming. These thermals, for me, number 1 thing we dropped all year. And to be honest, it's not even close. Not even close. These thermals, they're incredible. On the outside, they look cool. And then on the inside, they're just so comfortable, bro. They're so nice, man. Shout out to LA Apparel. Everything I just mentioned was LA Apparel. Oh, yeah, by the way, I don't gatekeep anything. Any of my clothing brand homies, if you want to know where I get my merch, where I source out of, I don't gatekeep anything. It's all Los Angeles Apparel. If you want to start a clothing brand, I might not start with Los Angeles Apparel because it's very expensive. You're going to have to sell your stuff for a little bit more. But also, quality is everything. So, I don't know. Shout out to LA Apparel, man. They get me right. Shout out to Street Warehouse for always printing my stuff real good. And shout out to you guys for supporting us and understanding that whenever we buy stuff that's higher quality, obviously that's going to make it a higher price only because it cost us more to get it. You know what I'm saying? So thank you to everybody that supported us on the merch drops. I want to hear your guys' top 3, though. Drop it in the comments. What are your top 3 merch drops from the Your Life is Worth Living clothing brand this year? What do you guys think? All right, so the next top 3 I'm going to do after I switch the camera real quick because I think the battery's about to die. Let me do that real quick, and we'll get back to this. All right, we're back, baby. All right, so that was the top 3 clothing brand drops of the year. Now we're going to get into top 3 events of the year. This is pop-ups or speaking engagements. Top 3 events of the year. Oh, man. Now, that's a tough one, though. I got to go. I actually already know what it is. Number 3, I got to say number 3, to be honest. Number 3 and number 2 are basically the same thing, but they're just so... They're just so similar, but they're also so different because they're the same spot, they're the same event pretty much, but they're so different because the time of the year and the drops we did at it. So I got to say, to be honest, number 3 is Oktoberfest, Downtown Lee Summit. It's a Friday, Saturday event in September. Oktoberfest. Can I just combine them? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just combine them, all right? I'm going to combine them and make Oktoberfest and Downtown Days. You guys probably knew. Downtown Days on Oktoberfest, they're like the same thing. They're ran by different people though, so they're actually not the same thing at all. But from a vendor aspect, they're almost the same thing, okay? So I'm going to lump them together. Oktoberfest and Downtown Days, I'm putting at number 2. At number 3, I'm putting the Maryville High School speaking engagement. I'm sorry, but that one was just special to me because that was the town where this whole brand started, and I felt like the connection I had with the kids at that one was very different. It was just different. Like, it wasn't better, it wasn't worse, it was just different. I felt like we just understood each other, you know? I don't know what it was, but I got to put Maryville at number 3. Number 2, like I said, Downtown Days and Oktoberfest. We're going to combine them. And then number 1, I got to do the not only was this the best event of the year, it was the best day of the year. It was April 24th at the Northwest Missouri State University speaking engagement. That one right there has to be the number 1 day of the year for me, just for the fact that it was the 8-year anniversary of the worst day of my life. And now I will remember April 24th as a completely different narrative. When I think of April 24th now, I'm going to think of one of the best days of my life. And that's why I got to put that one at number 1, the Northwest Missouri State speaking engagement. That is the number 1 memory I have from 2025. And I wish I did this podcast sooner because I could have made reels out of all these and stuff. I'm probably going to be too late now. Because after this episode, I'm flushing 2025 and we're on to 2026. We'll get there in a minute. Another top 3. What's another top 3 we could do? Also, drop in the comments, what are your top 3 events of Underwater FlyZone in 2025. I guess you would have had to be at 3 or more to really do it, but some of you guys truly were. Top 3 podcast episodes of the year. Now, you guys know we were slacking on the podcast this year. Truly, we were slacking on the podcast in 2025. But I could still give you guys the top 3 episodes. Number 1 is the number 1 episode of all time. I'm just going to start there. The number 1 episode of the Underwater Fly Zone's history with my guy Virgil Bryant. The first episode of the 5-episode Suicide Awareness Month podcast season that ended up only being 2 episodes. Virgil Bryant was episode 1, and that is the number 1 episode in Underwater Fly Zone history. It just is. It just truly is. Shout out to you, Virgil. Love you, bro. Love the Bryant family. I love all you guys. And I'm excited to run it back one of these days. Number 2, my girl Cameron and my girl Claire. That was the second episode of the 5-episode, which ended up being 2-episode Suicide Awareness Month podcast season. I have to go with Cameron and Claire. I feel like I personally could have did better on that podcast episode. I was a little tired, and it was a little rushed. We brought up the idea like 2 days before it happened, and then it happened, so... Man, I do want to say, though, love you girls, and I love seeing you guys, and I think we should run that one back as well. That's the second best episode of the year. And then the third is probably this one I'm recording right now, I'm not going to lie. I can't even remember any episodes that happened in the spring of 2025, so I'm sorry if you were a guest. I really just can't even remember. I remember one, my girl Maddie J. I'm gonna switch my thing up. Take that out. Put Maddie J in at number 3. My girl Maddie J, she got on the podcast with like 5,000 followers. I met her at that Herbalife event I was telling you about. Maddie J got on the podcast back in February with like 5,000 followers. And I felt like I was doing her a favor. She has not only passed me in following, she's almost tripled our following, guys. I'm so proud of this girl. So shout out to you, Maddie J. Make sure to go check her page out, shop.MaddieJ. And, man, shout out to you, truly. You are killing it. I've never seen anyone more living in their purpose than her. Like, I've seen people living in their purpose as much as her, but nobody living in their purpose more than her. And I knew that day when we were recording that podcast that she was going to be successful. But, bro, she's blown my expectations out of the water. Like, truly, like... I expected a lot, and whatever I expected, you already surpassed. So shout out to you, girl. Those are the top 3 podcast episodes of the year. I was going to do top 3 lessons that I learned this year, but gosh, that's kind of difficult because I really, like I said, I've just been so head down and on to the next that I haven't really taken that much time to sit down and reflect on lessons I learned this year, but I guess I can try. Let's see. The first lesson I learned kind of goes, I'm not going to rank these. There's going to be 3 lessons. Sorry, my asthma's kicking up. Did you hear that wheeze? Gosh. I got bad asthma, guys. But 3 lessons I learned this year. 3, and I'm not kidding. I actually have bad asthma. Like growing up, I've genuinely had bad asthma my whole life. Kind of grown out of it, but it's been kind of coming back. But don't tell my mom. Anyways, 3 lessons I learned this year. The first lesson goes along with a New Year's resolution that I have, a different New Year's resolution that I have. You got to stop caring what people think about you, truly, because it truly doesn't matter at all what anybody thinks about you, and it might even be holding you back, because it was holding me back. I told you guys, my number 1 memory, one of the best days of my life, April 24th, 2025, when I was blessed with the opportunity to speak at Northwest Missouri State University, my college. As great as it was, I remember I got some negative feedback. I won't lie, guys. I had some people, basically, I saw some people comment on this thing. It's a dumb app called Yik Yak. I don't have the dumb app. Someone showed me this, that like after the event, someone commented and said, "That was the most frat boy talk I've ever heard." And then someone commented, they're like, "Yeah, at least the shirts were cute though." I'm like, bro, and that really hurt. Like, that hurt because I put so much into these events and so much into my speech. And I don't even want to call it a speech, but my presentation time when I'm talking to the kids, I put so much thought, time, and effort into that. So for somebody to like criticize it and like it also, not only the effort, it takes like I told you guys, I get terrified before I do this. I can't eat before I do this. Like it takes a lot physically to do this as well. Like it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? So to have somebody like tear it down like that, it hurt, you know? And then I had another talk at North Kansas City when I walked off the stage. I went over, and one of the ladies that helped put it on, she was kind of like tearing into me a little bit, saying, I wish you were more professional. I wish you had more statistics and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, the kids don't want somebody to come here in a suit and share statistics. The kids want somebody that they can relate with. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to be for these kids. I'm trying to be somebody that a kid sitting in the audience can look at and be like, no, this guy's not just a poser wearing a suit talking about all this and that. This guy really cares about me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I try to be for these kids. And she kind of criticized it and was like kind of disappointed in the whole thing. It got to me, you know? And out of all the speaking engagements, I did like 50 talks this year. There's only been 2 that any negativity has stemmed from. But I don't remember the positivity. I get positive comments after all of these events. Even the Northwest one, the Northwest Missouri State one, has given me the most positive comments out of any of them. But what comments do I remember? I remember the negative ones. All these other events, I get all these positive comments, but what ones do I remember? The negative ones, you know? And it makes me think, is that because I am taking in their constructive criticism? No, there's nothing constructive about what they were saying. Like maybe the one lady was trying to be constructive, but I just don't agree with the stuff she was saying. But the other one where they were saying, oh, that was a frat boy or whatever, to me, there's nothing constructive about that. That's just somebody trying to tear down something that is trying to be built up. You know, that's somebody just trying to throw shade on some light. They're trying to throw some darkness on my light. You know what I'm saying? And if I give my thoughts, heart, feelings over to them, then they win, right? And a big thing I'm trying to carry into 2026 is to not care what people think, bro. Truly. I'm not doing this because I care what anybody thinks of me. I'm not doing this to gain anything from anyone. I'm doing this because I know the pain I went through when I lost my best friend. And I do not want anyone to feel that pain. And I know the pain that the people at Lee Summit West, there was a young lady at Lee Summit West that passed away to suicide this year as well. And I know the pain that her friends are going through. I'm doing this for her friends, bro. I'm doing this for Cameron, Claire, Tatum, Hooten, Riley Hooten, those girls that were friends with this girl at Lee Summit West, and all the people that I'm forgetting to name that are a part of her grieving. I'm trying to be there for them. I'm trying to represent them. I'm trying to represent all the hundreds of messages I've received this year of people saying, you know, I lost my best friend to suicide. I lost my brother, my dad, my mom. I lost someone I loved to suicide. And your brand makes me feel accepted. Your brand makes me feel heard. Your brand makes me feel understood. That's what I do this for. That's why I do this. I don't do this for acceptance. I don't do this so people think I'm cool. I don't do this for anyone's opinion, you know? So I want to keep that mindset. You know who else I do this for? I do this for the 406 kids that I taught at Timber Creek Elementary. I was an elementary PE teacher for 1 year, and I loved those kids, bro. I truly loved those kids. I loved the people I worked with, and I left that job after 1 year for this, what I'm doing right now, going to speak, making the difference in the community, trying to make a difference in this world. I left those kids that I loved. I left a job that I loved, a good career, a teaching career. People say teachers don't get paid anything. Do y'all know about those benefits? Do y'all know about that insurance? I don't get none of that with Underwater FlyZone. I don't get any of that with roofing. I don't get any of that. I left all of that. I left all that comfort. I left all that love. And I left kids that I loved and humans that I loved and a job that I loved for this. And the reason I did is because I remember I had a conversation with my students, and I was asking them about their dreams. What's your dream? What do you want to be when you grow up? I would always ask them these questions. And one time a kid asked me, Coach Huggins, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because, you know, I'm young, and he was kind of making a joke because one of the class he was in, they would call me their older brother because I was like by far the youngest looking teacher in the school. So they would call me their older brother, and like we never had problems. Like they were great kids. I love these kids, man. But he asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a motivational speaker. And they're like, wait, you don't want to be a teacher? And I was like, well, I love teaching, but my real dream is to be a motivational speaker. And they were like, wait, why aren't you doing it then? And I was like, that's a good question. They were like, you just told us that our dreams were possible. Why aren't you doing your dream? And I was like, dang, dude. So I remember the day I left, I told the kids I was leaving, I told them, I said, hey guys, I'm doing this because your dreams are all possible, and I want to show you guys that your dreams are possible because I'm going to be able to accomplish my dreams. I'm going to go accomplish my dreams, and I want you guys to know that I'm doing this for you guys. I truly loved my kids more than I think any teacher ever loved their kids, and I hope that I'm an inspiration. I hope I can be an inspiration to those kids. So this is getting into a long rant, but these are the reasons I do this. I don't do this for some random person on Yik Yak. I don't do this for some random lady that brought me into speak and was disappointed. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here to do my best to be the best I can be for these kids and for this world and for Turner Construction and for construction companies and high schools and colleges, fraternities, sororities, all of this. That's why I do it, bro. So that's all I really got to say. That's going to be the one. Now, I'm not even saying, well, I'll say two more because I actually have two more things I learned. I learned that if you think you're doing a lot, you're not doing nothing. I thought I was grinding this year. I thought I was working so hard. I'm not doing nothing because the times I thought I was working the hardest was like back in March. What I do today compared to what I did then is nothing. So I kind of had some sort of ego to me back then. I was kind of like, yo, I'm out here grinding. I'm out here. My schedule's so busy. If I don't wake up at 6 a.m., my whole day's cooked. I was saying stuff like that. That's nothing compared to what I do today. I do so much more today than I did then. And I guess one thing I would just say there is just the lesson I learned is humble yourself. You're not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's more of like a personal lesson. I don't even know if what I just said makes sense, but I guess what I'm saying is you're always growing. You're always growing. Where you are today, you're going to look back on yourself where you are today and be like, I was just a little boy back then. I was a little girl back then. I wasn't doing nothing back then. So don't have an ego about yourself. Don't be cocky. Don't be getting full of yourself. That's a big thing that I don't feel like that was a big life-changing lesson I learned, but just kind of looking back at myself, I'm like, bro, you need to understand that you're still growing at all times. I'm still growing at all times. I better not be out here trying to act like I'm the hardest worker or anything. I got so much more I could be doing, so. And then the third lesson I would say, this isn't something I learned this year, but this is just something that I guess I applied this year more than I learned. I learned this in the past, but I've really applied it this year, which is essentially this. Put your phone away. When I say that, I mean spend time with your family. My grandparents, I'm blessed to say I still have all four of my grandparents. They're all still living, and I've just really been intentional about when I'm with them, I leave my phone in the car. You know what I'm saying? I don't even bring it in. I don't give myself the opportunity to get distracted by my phone because these are valuable moments that I'm spending with my grandparents. But even farther than that, like who's to say that, any of us have any time left? The future's not guaranteed for any of us, so be more intentional with your time. I really challenge you guys in 2026 to put your phone away. That's what I'm trying to do. I already talked about that earlier, but put your phone away and really be present in these moments that you get to spend with your family, friends, people you love, because those moments aren't guaranteed, and you're not guaranteed that you'll ever get another one. So, yeah, put your phone away. That's a big one, but anyways, guys, I'm going to get my phone out after I said put your phone away because your boy needs to go through our schedule. I've had my head down for this podcast talking about. I've had my head down this whole year, and I've had my head up. Sorry, I got distracted. See, this is what happens when you get your phone out. You get distracted. You start saying random stuff. I've had my head down all year. I picked my head up for the last probably hour, I would say. Kind of took in some lessons, took in some blessings. But now it's time to put our head back down and look ahead. 2026 is here, and here's what we got coming up in January. The first month of the best year of all of our lives. We are going to speak that into existence. It's coming, baby. Starting off January 10th, That's a Saturday. Saturday, January 10th, we'll be in Lincoln, Nebraska for a pop-up event. Come back home the next day on January 11th. We'll be in Gladstone, Missouri for a pop-up event. Look out for the flyers on our Instagram page. Then the next day, January 12th, 3 days back to back to back. January 12th, we're going up to Northwest Missouri State for Tri-Sig speaking engagement. I'll be speaking to the ladies of Tri Sigma sorority up at Northwest Missouri State, my old school. I can't wait to see y'all ladies, and I can't wait to hopefully make a huge impact in your life. And then January 15th, a couple days later, we'll be at Avila. I told you I was coming back. And we're bringing some heat with us. We're bringing some of our new merch with us. So Avila, we'll see you on January 15th. We'll be up in Liberty, Missouri for the first ever Liberty pop-up on January 17th. That's a Saturday. Then January 20th, we're going back up to Maryville, Missouri for the Northwest Slammers. The Northwest Slammers, it's a volleyball club up in Northwest Missouri. They will be bringing us out to speak, bringing myself out to speak, sell some merch, have a good time. I can't wait for that. Then January 22nd, Bishop Miege High School in Kansas City. Are y'all ready, man? I'm coming, baby. Bishop Miege High School. I cannot wait for this opportunity. I get to come out to you guys and speak, share my message, and we're going to have a great time together. I can't wait. So be looking out for that on January 22nd. January 28th, there is some talk of me coming to Avila. It's still up in the air. January 24th, Wichita. I'm going to try to come out to Wichita. I don't know if I'll be accepted into the event because it's a primarily thrift event. But Wichita, it's kind of up in the air right now. I might be looking out on the Instagram. That one's unconfirmed. Avila on the 28th is also unconfirmed. That will be a speaking engagement in Avila on January 28th. If that happens, Archie School District, January 29th. Archie School District, Archie High School. We are coming, baby. I cannot wait. I've never been to Archie School District. I did sell a roof out in Archie. Sold a roof. You guys know I do roofing sales. I don't know. Maybe you knew that. Maybe you didn't. I do roofing sales. I sold a roof out in Archie, but I've never been to the high school. I'm excited to come out to Archie to speak to Archie High School on January 29th and then January 30th. January 30th is going to be crazy, guys. I'm not going to lie. January 30th, we got Ray-Pec East Middle School. We got Ray-Pec South Middle School in the same day. And then at the nighttime, we got Lee Summit High School for a pop-up. So I'll be speaking at Ray-Pec East Middle School, Ray-Pec South Middle School. I'll be speaking there. And we'll end off the night on January 30th at Lee Summit High School. We're doing a little pop-up. And January 31st is a Saturday. We got nothing because that's my wife's birthday. Make sure everybody make sure to remember to tell my wife happy birthday on January 31st. And that's January for you guys. We got a ton coming up in February, a ton coming up in March. A big star on my 2026 list is a big event we're doing. Oh gosh. We're doing a big event at Lee Summit West High School. This is a star on my calendar on March 21st. The reason there's a big star next to Lee Summit West High School is because I have been working so hard to make this happen for over a year. I tell you guys, I don't just show up to a school and get to talk. There are hurdles after hurdles you got to jump through sometimes. And Lee Summit West, I have finally jumped through the last hurdle. It is booked. We're coming. Lee Summit West, March 21st. I cannot wait. Shout out to Carrie Stites, my lady at Lee Summit West. Thank you for allowing this to happen. Guys, I can't wait for that. Got a couple other big stars on the calendar as well. We're coming to Ray-Pec High School February 12th. We're coming to Lee Summit High School for a speaking engagement in February. It's kind of up in the air. We're going out to Omaha 2 times for speaking engagements. We got a lot coming up, and if you want to get your school or your organization or your business or whatever added to our calendar, it is very easy. Go to fosterhuggins.com, fill out the form. We will make this happen. Everybody asks me, can you come to my school? Here's what I get a lot. I want to make a reel out of this, so let me speak clearly. I get this question a lot. I get asked, can you come to my school? Can you come speak at my school? Can you come speak to my business, my fraternity, my sorority? Can you come speak with us? The answer is yes. The answer is I want to. Like literally, I left my dream job as being an elementary PE teacher. I had a job, a career ahead of me, and I left it for this. I want to come speak for y'all. I want to make an impact in your organization, in your business, in your school. I want to be there, but I don't get to just show up. You know what I'm saying? I don't just get to show up and do it. There's a lot that goes into bringing me out. as far as hurdles to jump through, approval from the board, approval from this, approval from that. And if you simply just DM me on Instagram, it might get lost. I'm not gonna lie, it might get lost in the random stuff I get. I get, people from Pakistan. Can I be your clothing manufacturer? I get people from this, people from that. To make it real easy, if you guys want me to come out and speak for your organization, I want to. More than anything, I want to. I just need to keep things organized. So help me out by filling out an application on fosterhuggins.com. Please, guys, if you do that for me, we'll make it happen. But if you Facebook message me, if you DM me on Instagram, if you text me, no promises. No promises. The way that these speaking engagements have worked in the past is someone fills out a form on the website. Sometimes it's an administrator, sometimes it's a student, and then I call the number that it's given. I'll call the number, and depending on who it is, we'll talk about our next steps forward as far as making this actually happen. So, yeah, guys, that's my big ask. If you want me to come out, I want to come out more than anything. I just need you guys to help me stay organized by filling out a form on fosterhuggins.com. And that's really all I got. You can also find us on uwfz.store. The application's on there, but if you search fosterhuggins.com, it just comes straight up. So anyways, guys, 2025, that's the end of the year. This is it. I'm going to go edit this video, post it, and I'm going to enjoy tonight by going to see my boy Connor Olson. He's getting his new transplant. He had to go back to the hospital for some of his cancer stuff. So I'm going to go hang out with him tonight. That's what I'm going to do for New Year's Eve. And I don't think Macy is going to come because of Maverick. Maverick is going to stay home, I believe. So, yeah, I'm going to go to Children's Mercy Hospital. That's what I'm doing for New Year's Eve. I hope you guys have a good New Year's Eve. And I just love you guys, truly. Love you guys. And I will catch you guys next year. 2026 about to be crazy. Going to do a lot of podcasts, do a lot of crazy stuff. New shipping code is YLIWL, all caps, 26. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed year, baby. Peace.